Everybody, Ron Sweeney, Coldwell Heritage, coming to you from Dayton, Ohio, sometimes called the Miami Valley, sometimes called the tri-state area. I want to give you a mid-year update. Let's call it a late spring, early summer update. The market is moving. If I had to give just an overall top line, with interest rates rising like they did just recently, the market is surprisingly moving very well. Throughout the country, you'll see headlines and you'll see markets are crashing, or this is happening, or the housing market's this or it's that, or you got to remember that each individual market is their own, and real estate's local. And I think that's important to keep it in there. Keep that in mind. The Dayton area, the 63rd largest market in the country, is still moving pretty well. And I'm going to talk to you about the 4 to 6 key things that I look at when I assess the health of a market. And then at the end, we'll talk about how does that relate to buyers and sellers. What does that mean to a buyer? What does that mean to a seller? So the first thing I look at, the first 3 little data points that I look at in a market is what are units doing? That's each a house or a condo. What are they doing? In the Dayton market specifically, it's up 2%. That means there's a little bit of health, a little bit of growth. In the previous 5 years, it's always been down. Obviously, we hit the highs of the COVID years, and then it has come down. That's hit the bottom, and now it's working its way up. We were up last year as a company, and we're up again this year, but the market is up 2%. What's happening with sales prices? Okay, a lot of people are saying they're going crazy or they're crashing. They're doing neither. In Dayton, it's up 5%. That's pretty good for your return on your investment. If you look at many people don't look at homes as an investment. It is, but it's your home, it's your family, so there's a lot of emotional ties to it. But the average sale price is up 5%. That's not too much. That's not too little. It's not negative, but it's also not double digits, which is unsustainable. So when I take units up 2% and I take price up 5%, that means the sales volume is up 7%. That means the market is moving along. Days on market have extended a little bit. We're seeing, and I'll get to this I'll come back to this in a minute, but days on market are up a couple, 3-4 days. And inventory is up from all-time lows. So when I look at those 5 key data points, it tells me the Dayton market is very, very, very healthy. Just 30 miles down the road is Cincinnati. They're a little bit negative, but their growth was much higher the past 2 or 3 years. So that's not abnormal, but that's what I say. Real estate is local. And so the Dayton and Cincinnati markets are completely different, to be brutally honest with you, and they work on different cycles. Yeah, rising tide floats all boats, whatever you want to call it, but the Dayton market's up very, 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 very healthy. So with interest rates where they are and how they've ticked up a little bit, which was a bit of a surprise. We didn't see that on our bingo card, if you will, starting the year. They've ticked up a little bit, 6.6, 6.5, 6.7 range. The market's still moving, still very, very impressed and resilient market that's happening. So what does this mean for a buyer? So I mentioned days on market. When days on market extends out like that, that means usually that the buyers have a little more say in what's going on. And so it's still a little bit of a seller's market, but not like it used to be. It used to be buyers would buy and they would be like, hey, you could stay in that house for 60, 90 days. I'll pay the interest. Let's just close on this now. We're not seeing that. We're saying, no, you know what? You're either going to move out now, and they have more leverage and more say so. Yeah, sure. We still see some deals fall through because buyers are picky. But sellers have come down to reasonable expectation levels of what they're going to get. When you see your neighbor in 21 get a sale price that's really, really, really high, you want that high price in 2026. Well, it's a different time. It's a different market. There's much more cash and et cetera, et cetera. That said, days on market's crept up. More control is with the buyer. It's more of a balanced market. The seller might have a little more leverage than the buyer, but not as much as it used to. What does that mean for sellers? Sellers have had to, over the last 18 months, come to grips with the realities of the market. And the market is the market. We don't set the price. If there's more buyers than sellers, the home prices go up. If there's more sellers than buyers, they come down. And so it's just supply and demand, and it's economics, quite honestly. And so the sellers over the last 18 months have come to grips with, I'm not going to get that pricing that I got in 2021. And they've come to realization of that. Although they still have control of the situation and the transaction, it's just been, it's a process that's got to work its way through. What do I think was going to happen with the interest rates? I think they're going to creep down slowly. I think you're going to see, I don't think they ever get to the 3s and 4s range. Everybody wants to say, oh my God, I'm not moving till it's 3. Well, you're never going to move then. I think the best time to buy a house is yesterday. The second best time is tomorrow, because you can always work. Interest rates are still at a 60, 70 year lower than what they normally are. So I feel good about that. I feel like it's going to be in the 5.75 to 6.5 range over the next couple, 2-3 years. And I think that's a healthy market. The financing companies can make a few bucks. The people can pay their bills at that rate. It's not 9, but it's also not 2. So with that said, things are going well in Dayton. Good market, good update. And I feel very good about where things are going because it looks like the 4 or 5 key indicators that I mentioned earlier are headed in the right direction. So that said, I'll be back soon in the next month or so with another update. Hope all's well. Take care. Thanks. Bye.